Welcome back to your live continuing coverage of NAB 2017. This is Teradek's live coverage here at the Las Vegas Convention Center in Las Vegas, Nevada in Central Hall. I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for joining us. We're in the Vitech Video Group booth, and it's truly remarkable to be here this year. It's just unbelievable, all the different things that are going on, all the new innovation. Facebook is here. Who ever thought that Facebook would be at NAB, and they're doing remarkable things with Facebook Live. They want all your content on Facebook Live. They're giving you the tools to do it. It's really tremendous. It goes on from there. It never ends. The distribution platforms are there, the equipment's there, the tools are there. And speaking of tools, I'm really excited about the fact that we have Matthews Grip here. Matthews makes some of the greatest products, but they have a new tool, right? It's called My Way Grip, and it really is a way to integrate and make interchangeable all their different tools. So Matthews makes the greatest grip products on the planet. You want to hang something on set? It's Matthews. You want to clamp something to a car? It's Matthews. You want to hang something off a tripod or a stand or something like that? It's Matthews. You want to put something on tracks? It's probably Matthews. Tyler's here from Matthews. We've got Jay, who's a grip, and Richard, who's a grip. And you guys have worked closely with Matthews to create this new way of doing things, which is just truly remarkable, and it's great for the independent filmmaker or broadcaster and people who are just getting into the business all the way up, but it's especially great for those independent filmmakers, right?
Yeah, it's anybody really in this industry is going to appreciate My Way because it's lighter, it's faster, and it's just a better way of doing things. These guys had this brilliant idea, Jay and Richard, of taking what Matthews has done over 40-something years and making it better and easier to use and more interchangeable. So together, they created My Way Grip and partnered with Matthews to bring it to all you guys. And
here's the thing I think that's so amazing is Matthews products. I mean, the knuckle is really well known. You've got all the products across all of the different product lines, right? And yet now you've figured out a way to say, hey, maybe, and you guys, to your credit, figured out a way to say, hey, you know what? Maybe this product is really good, and this product is really good, and this product is really good, and to connect them, I need this product, but why do I need to buy these 4 different products when I really could just have these 2 ends that I need and somehow connect them? And so, I mean, is this a perfect example of what we're talking about?
That's kind of sorry to interrupt, but that's kind of a different product.
Okay.
We're headed towards interchangeability with everything we do. We want it to be faster, lighter, and interchangeable, so you can manipulate things easier on set and get the job done. That is called the Infinity Arm. It is the world's strongest articulating arm, and it has interchangeable tips that allow you to interchange whatever it is you might need to rig a monitor or a light.
So this seems like it's really a great answer to the Israeli arm, which has been the industry standard for so many years, but yet is very flimsy, hard to tighten, and what happens no matter if you buy a $40 or a $400 arm and you put a monitor on it, and all of a sudden you're on the shoot and you move the camera a little and it goes boom. Yeah. Now your monitor's done, and what do we do now? So that is actually not only the interchangeability, which I think is great, but the actual durability of that. I could tell immediately how well that's built, that is something that is really perfect for a perfect answer for the Israeli arm, so you don't have to worry about breaking your gear. So you guys have some cool tricks in that tool bag then to show off. Yeah. How did you guys think of doing this?
Well, I'm a gaffer, yeah, lighting director. I was doing a TV series.
Yep.
I asked the grips to put a baby plate on the ceiling to hang a Celeb 200 from. And just like any gaffer out there, I got busy. I wasn't paying attention to the plate that they were screwing to the ceiling. By the time they had it up, I turned around and looked, and they had a baby plate up there with a 12-inch pin. By the time you hang a light on that, the light was in the shot, and they had to change out the plate. So they had to go searching for one of their smaller baby plates with a shorter pin on it. They were all being used. Right then I thought, well, if you could just take the same plate and just interchange the pin to any length, any size, any shape, you'd have something that'd be a lot quicker. So this is what I came up with. Richard's a good friend of mine. He's a key grip who I respect greatly. So I called him right away and I said, Richard, I got something I think we need to do together. Without hesitation, he said, great, let's do it. What is it? I sent him a little sketch.
He sent me a sketch. Before the ink was dry, I was in my computer designing the parts.
He got it right off the bat, and by the time we wrapped that night, he had sent me a picture of that with different size pins,
Different shape pins.
90s, juniors, whatever you want.
So
Awesome.
it basically takes, and then, to expand on it, the Mathellini has the same adapter. So you can interchange any pin, any shape.
Quickly.
So it's kind of limitless.
In
This is
seconds.
like,
pull that out,
this is like
put a
Felix's
junior in.
bag. You can just keep pulling different options out of here.
So had you guys ever machined or made any products before?
Well, I have. Richard has as well. I've got a milling machine myself, a lathe. I've made all kinds of things over the last 33 years of being in the business.
So how do you go from you have this idea and you've designed it to a prototype to then it working to then going and getting Matthews on board and having them want to partner with you? Because I would think that in many cases it'd be hard to get them. They have they have a huge reputation for a lot of years, and they've got to put it through a lot of rigorous testing and all that stuff, I would imagine.
Well, I've never had many dealings with Matthews because I'm a lighting director or gaffer, but Richard has had a long-standing relationship with Matthews. When I brought Richard in as a partner,
I developed the Max Menace arm, which Matthews embraced and has subsequently won a technical achievement award through the Academy for its invention and development through Matthews. And I have several other products that I've developed that Matthews has embraced. And so when Jay contacted me about this, I kind of knew immediately what was going to happen. Jay and I got together, we started working on the patent immediately. I started working on, doing some prototype manufacturing. And once it was kind of all in place, we then got together and then had a meeting at Matthews with Ed and Tyler and the principals there, and I think they embraced it immediately. Some of it has to do maybe with my track record from other products.
It helps. It definitely helps.
definitely helps.
It does.
And I think you've got a great product here. Matthew's stuff is phenomenal. I just built a studio at the South Point Hotel and Casino just across town here for Brent Musburger. It's his new project, Vegas Stats and Information Network. I designed and built a studio. We got it running in 2 weeks.
Wow.
And we used 28 of the Matthews clamps and arms with the baby pins to hang the lights. They're actually about to build a secondary studio, and we're going to be ordering like 8 to 12 more of them.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. And I was wondering why it was hard to get them at the time. Everybody was sold out of them. And I think that the reason is because you guys were in the process of releasing this product and changing the way things are done a little, so maybe supply was a little scarce. But you guys at Matthews and what you guys have invented is certainly the greatest grip products on any set anywhere, and everybody uses them. That's the thing. I don't think I've ever been on a set that didn't have 5 or 10 Matthews products, and probably a couple of things you guys have designed even before this.
Yeah.
Yeah. It definitely makes rigging lights or grip gear on a set a lot more versatile.
And one of the big advantages of this system is it actually saves space and weight, which now becomes a real factor. A lot of film productions, they want us in smaller trucks. There may be limits in locations as to how big of a truck you can put stuff into, but you still need the same tools.
Right.
So this allows us to have smaller space, but have all the options needed, because every time you go into an environment, there may be different needs as far as hanging lights or what you want to accomplish.
Sure, and I think that, even now, you see a lot more, especially at NAB even, you see a lot more video walls, visual displays, projection mapping. All those products have to be mounted as well and are using Matthews in one way, shape, or form and can really benefit from this product as well. A lot of that stuff has to be assembled quickly and taken down quickly. And also, as we start to move live broadcasts into more venues, you have a lot of need to do all sorts of gripping things. Like, take this set, for instance, right? 10 years ago, this didn't exist. 8 years ago, it did, and it's changed its shape and its form and the way it is, but it's got to go up relatively quickly. It's got to be relatively versatile, and it's got to come down relatively quickly. And so that's where these kinds of products can really help out.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's a Cheeseboro, right?
Well, it's a grid clamp or a Cheeseboro.
Yep.
But with this patent pending collar on it.
Is that new?
No, this grid clamp's been
No,
around for a
not
while.
the
but
Cheeseboro.
It used to be a junior pin,
Yep.
a junior receiver, or a baby pin.
Right, but I'm saying, is that new to put that on top?
Yes.
Wow.
So now, it's one does both.
It's a baby, it's a junior, it's a right angle. You can put a 1/4-inch pin, a 3/8-inch pin.
So what's great is now you can buy,
90.
let's say you need 50 Cheeseburros, you can buy 50 Cheeseburros, and when you need one for a baby pin or that right angle, or you need one for something else, you don't have
We
to...
don't have any long
Instead of buying
pins
the
here.
whole clamp again, you just
We
buy
don't
the
long
adapter.
pins.
Oh my God.
Which is, way less expensive.
Way less
So
expensive,
you can do
plus
anything.
you might
Yeah.
have it in your bag already. You might, at least the Cheeseburros you don't have to buy over and over again.
And with gripping, I'm no Richard or Jay, but you never know what you're going to have to do until you're there.
Well, no, that's
And
it's on the fly.
you're on the fly, and this allows you to be way more creative with what you need to do.
Tell me about the red strap there. That's a safety cable,
Safety cable. Yep.
and is that on every hanging point,
Well,
really? Every
Well,
one of
it's,
them?
Yeah, you
it's
wanna-
for the lanyard itself.
Oh, I got you.
For the quick pin.
You don't want to lose this.
Right.
This is an integral part of it.
How long did it take you to design and develop this?
Well, right away I kind of had it in my head.
Well, I know. So it
Stretch
took you
it out,
it took you like
stretch
20
it
minutes
out.
to sketch it out. It took him,
By the time I called him,
yeah,
he said, make me a drawing. I sketched it out. Took me 8 minutes.
right.
I took a picture of it, sent him the picture.
Isn't technology amazing?
Oh, I know.
I took a picture of it, sent it to him. He had it. So in 12 minutes, you had an idea, a drawing. Wait, you had an idea, a phone call, a drawing,
That's right.
a photo of that drawing sent to him. You didn't even have to find a fax machine.
I put it in my computer.
He put it in
and
his
I
computer.
Drew it.
You drew
I
it.
sent
in
it back to
SketchUp.
him.
Hold on, that's a little bit more than 12 minutes. But you had it in 12
But
minutes.
before we wrapped that night, he
Right.
had a blueprint drawing.
And 3-4 hours later, you had a blueprint drawing of it, and then that's unbelievable. And then how long to make it, like to make the first one to test? Or you just went to Matthews with the drawing and said, we want to do this?
No, we made some prototypes first.
We made some prototypes, but we actually designed it, and these are the exact dimensions of our original design.
It's been just about 2 years
So it really took
from then till now.
Right, so that's what I was saying, is how long did it take to kind of develop it
Well,
to say, here it is?
I think it's less than 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, okay, we both work on
almost 2
films
years.
too, so kind of, a little bit of a hiccup maybe
Yeah.
in time. But while we were working, I didn't do the machining myself, but I kind of found some machinists to make some parts
Very
from
cool.
designs. And
Somewhere in here I have the original drawing that I sent him.
That's
I have
pretty
it on my
cool.
phone still.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, you can print it out and frame it. Guys, thank you so much for coming on. It's a great story. The products are phenomenal, and this is really important. It makes all the productions more efficient, better, safer, and ultimately more inexpensive, which allows us to focus on the things that are really important on in the creating of the content. So
Yeah.
thank you guys very much. This is your live continuing coverage of NAB 2017. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with a whole lot more right after this. Welcome back to your live continuing coverage of NAB 2017 right here in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're in Central Hall, the Las Vegas Convention Center in the Vitech Video Group booth on the Teradek set. This is Teradek's live continuing coverage. I'm Michael Artsis. Thanks so much for joining us. We have some very special and great guests here. I am so excited. The Cartoni company was started in 1936, and they've been part of the film and broadcast industry ever since. One of the most illustrious and well sought after companies in the world. Everybody knows Cartoni. They know the brand, they know the products. It's really got such a stellar reputation. If you've done anything in filmmaking or broadcast, you know Cartoni. Elisabetta Cartoni is here with Steve from Cartoni. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having us here. It's an honor.
It's an honor to have you here. Your grandfather started the company in 1936.
Yes.
You're a third generation owner.
Yes, absolutely.
It's something that's very hard to do these days.
It is. It is. It is hard to keep on inventing new stuff. It's hard to keep a company running, especially in a country like Italy, where we have had our ups and downs, and it's not the best possible condition for having labor and a factory.
And you deal with all sorts of importation and exportation issues, all sorts of sourcing parts, I'm sure. But it's, you've been able to keep it going, and I think that's something that's really, really not easy to do, but is remarkable. And it's remarkable that you've been able to keep the reputation going, because, a lot of people try and skimp on, product or change the way things have been done, and that's when things start to fall apart. But you've been able to keep it going.
You see, our focus has always been to stay on our technologies, on our know-how, and basically we make everything in-house. Even stuff that we could buy from other countries or other factories, we still make them in Rome in our factory.
When you were young, do you remember going to the factory and seeing your grandfather work and then, obviously your parents work?
Yeah. Unfortunately, my grandfather died very young, but my father, who was handling the at that time, I remember when I was a young girl, I might have been 6 or 7, and I had gyro heads under my bed. This is the way Papa was using to stock them under our bed.
Wow. Now, did you know you wanted to go into the business, or did you, because that's always also a hard thing for, business owners to figure out if it should, if the child wants to do it, and then if they should, and if they're good enough or smart enough, or if they have really, because you have to be passionate, especially to keep the business going. You can't just say, well, I'll do this because it's the family business.
It hasn't been easy at all. I have a degree in philosophy, so I would have loved to be a teacher and and a writer, but my father needed me, and I started helping him in the spare hours I had from the study, and then at the end I was compelled to follow it.
Well, it's a good thing, and I think that the entire filmmaking world is thankful that your father needed you, because we all need you. Steve, you wanted to show off the Dutch head that you guys have, and it's remarkable. First of all, I just want the viewers to understand that as you were getting this ready on set, you were so confident in it. That's an Arri Alexa on there. The whole thing weighs a ton, but you just swung that thing around like nobody's business, and my heart skipped like 4 beats, not just one. It skipped like 4 beats, wondering if that lens, that camera, and the entire setup were just going to go flying, because you don't know, and you were just right on it.
Well, after being with Cartoni for 25 years, I'm confident with everything we do. The Dutch quickly started, the Dutch look has been around forever. Back in the old days, it was actually 2 O'Connor 100s stacked on each other. That was the old days of Batman, when they would give that funky angle when they were doing their fighting. In the early 90s, when Cartoni first came to the States, Denny Claremont came to us. We were doing our demos and said, we need something called a Dutch head. And Mr. Cartoni was there, and they talked for a few minutes. 3 weeks after he returned, after he got back to Italy, he sent us the first Dutch head. First thing was the Claremonts were amazed that a Dutch head came out within 3 weeks. And then once they put it to use, the rest is history. Every major rental house had a Cartoni Dutch head. Most user had it. Almost every cameraman has used a Dutch head from Cartoni, one of our Dutch heads. Well, as the years gone by, we tried to figure out what can happen next. Elisabetta has been really pondering what to do. And when we introduced our Lambda 25, which most cameramen know our big Lambda head, that we were asked for a third axis. And that's when the idea hit her, when she created the third axis for the total Dutch head. And if I may now?
Yes, please. And I want to say, you know, we've got a friend in common, a good friend of mine who is an amazing camera operator, was the camera operator on Dexter and True Blood and does a lot of Grey's Anatomy work and works with me a lot. Eric Fletcher swears by Cartoni. If it's not Cartoni, he does not want to use it. And obviously there's good reason for that.
Yeah, Eric has been a big supporter of ours. The SOC actually honored our Lambda line of heads last year's for a Lifetime Achievement Award, I think it was.
Yes.
And so what we have here is a Dutch head that you can actually put on a nodal point, the optical center, and rotate it 360. And there's no other head out there on the market that will allow you to do that on a standard pan and tilt head. So here we have the O'Connor 2575. Unlock it, and now we could do, oops, as I locked it. I locked it. Aha! There we go. Excuse me there.
See, if it was a Cartoni head, I'd give you a hard time.
But
If you were struggling with a Cartoni head, I'd give you a hard time.
Okay.
But the O'Connor, it's not your head, so it's
so
okay.
now we can have just a real oddball shot, following people around, give
Sure.
a little bit of a cycle look, and perfect balance all the way through.
So, I mean, obviously we know that has a certain amount of use in horror films. It has a certain amount of use in space films, right? Especially with the 360, it can give you the feel of the astronauts, you know, tumbling all around. It certainly can do, you know, there are certain jobs it will do very well. But what are the things that people don't think of using this for that it might work perfect for? What kind of shots would you think about that other people haven't?
There are documentaries, there are architectural reports, there are fashion shows where it will be very interesting to use that type of head. Some advertising with tabletop work from above. There is plenty of use of the Dutch head, and especially when it is so easy just to put it on an existing head.
Right.
It is something that we hope that every crew would want to have in the box and just be ready to use it.
Well, and I mean, it only took you about 3 minutes to set this whole thing up.
Absolutely.
And again, this is an O'Connor pair of sticks and head, and you haven't used that before, so or maybe you have, but you're not that familiar with it. So I think that's very interesting, that it really is ready to go on any, as long as it can bear the weight, it's ready to go on any head and any pair of sticks. I thought the most interesting thing was that Steve said that you felt that the company needed this and you designed it. Does that happen a lot?
It does, because I helped a lot my father in his former designs, and I was the one translating the patent language in English when we applied for the patents in English. So I'm quite familiar with what the problems are, and also being in this world for so many years, I got great friends among the great director of photography and operators, and they come to me and talk me about the needs, about the imagining shots that maybe are not possible yet, and so this attracts me a lot to think about what tool can I get them to be more creative.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And
one of the things about Cartoni being a small family business is exactly what Elisabetta said, is that Eric Fletcher, for example, over the years, camera operators come and say, hey, can you do this? Can we do that? And Brazil, the movie Brazil, you guys made the first, what we call multi-mode, where they put 3 different parts of the head together to go on the ground and make all kinds of, it's kind of like a predecessor to a Lambda.
Yeah.
And it was only used a few times there, but they're always constantly innovating and listening to what the cameraman needs.
Well, and you're constantly in touch with the operators, which I think is good. Do you visit sets a lot, both of you guys?
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's important.
In Rome, I do a lot in Cinecittà, where I have excellent friends from the AIC, the Italian Guild of Cinematographers, and they have been a great source of inspiration.
I'm glad the SOC.org recognized your work, and of course that you guys are involved with them. It's really, truly remarkable. The Society of Camera Operators is a great organization. I'm glad that you guys do such remarkable work, and I can't thank you enough for all of the viewers out there and all the people at NAB who use your products and really love them. Thank you, and thank you for sharing your story and spending some time with us.
No, thanks to you a lot, and I promise we will keep on going with this same philosophy.
I love it. That's wonderful. Do you have kids that are going to be involved in the business in the future?
I hope so. I have a daughter, but I don't know. Maybe.
Talk her into it. Tell her you need her help. That was your dad's
exactly.
trick. It seemed to work well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Steve, right? I mean,
Yep, thank you. Yeah, I'd love to see the family name continue.
absolutely.
I mean, they've kind of adopted me already.
There you go. Oh, well, you guys are terrific, and in all honesty, you make great products, and we need the products, and we love the whole line of products. Check out Cartoni. They make phenomenal products, and I'm glad we got to see the Total Dutch here. This is your live continuing coverage of NAB 2017 here at the Las Vegas Convention Center in the Teradek set. We'll be back with a whole lot more. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.